for all of humanity. And you can resist that and it will feel like an ass kicking, or you can let go and surrender and ride the wave, ride the frequencies of the light and allow them to, activate within you and embody the shift within, and you will feel new and different every single moment, because like she's expressing, it's all changing very quickly. And this is not a brain thing. This is not about our logic grabbing hold of something and putting it in a box, because once we've gotten to this place of expanded consciousness of the unified field, we realize we're one with source and there are no limitations. There are no boxes. And so this is going to challenge the hell out of those that are very, in their logical thinking and they need to have a way to analyze everything. Let go of that need to do that. Just surrender to that. Know that, yes, that's been there. And I now release that so that I can actually allow the integration of my divine masculine and feminine to rise in the highest frequency so that I can experience and co-create as a free sovereign being of light my highest holographic reality. Yes, that shit just came out of me, Amnon. That was amazing.
Well, that's very good. Yeah, and there is a question or more like a comment. Robin is saying, Tanya, you've just expressed in words what I've been experiencing lately. Yay. I've been aware of some major shifts occur afterwards. At first, I was fearful that there was something wrong with me. Yeah. I saw multiple specialists, had test after test, and everything came back normal. As I was going through this, I really started paying attention to my spirit. Good. It's as if my intuition has become stronger and I feel like a different person.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Robin, because yes. And look at her saying how she's getting tests and all this stuff, because the old human paradigm way of thinking is something's wrong with me. I need to go to the doctor and I need to go have them tell me what's wrong with me. And where we're at with this shift, that's not where we want to go. And when we go there, they're not going to find anything because there's nothing wrong with you, but you are changing. Absolutely. And at a level soon, we will, science and spirituality are coming together and they're unifying in the unified field as well. And there will be confirmation and proof of the shifts in the genetic makeup of the human form as we start to, we're changing, shifting, mutating, restructuring. There will be scientific evidence of this. But for now, it's good if we're just staying in that space with our intuition and we're honoring what's going on within. And we're not going into fear, because just like Robin's saying, she felt that. So did I at first. I ended up paying a $500 ER bill for nothing. And I was like, why am I here? This is ridiculous. But I ended up, it's part of the journey. I was there for other reasons too, to help clear some things. But I realized, okay, I'm not dying, because they brought back my blood work, everything, my heart. They're like, you're in excellent shape. You're a very healthy human. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but what the hell? It feels like I'm dying, And so we, in a sense, it's like our old self is dying. And when you think of like Twilight, which I know it's funny to use that image, but that's what I keep getting. She looks like she's just in pain, but she's just silently laying there. But all this crap is happening within. And that's what it feels kind of like. And what I would encourage you to ask your team, your galactic team, your angels, because we all have a team. We all have these beings of love and light that unconditionally love us and are supporting us through this ascension. And I would encourage each of you to consciously set the intention to ask for their assistance and to set the intention that all of these shifts are happening within me with ease and grace and joy. So you can create that through your held focus of it being easy, of it being gracious, or if we go into fear, excuse me, I have like hiccups. If you go into fear, it's in a sense, law of attraction. Now you're going to create the shift in a more fearful way, and it doesn't need to be. So something I will share with you, because at first I actually did feel fear. Sounds like so did Robin. And it is like what Lisa said here. It is a very intense experience when the human is changing. And that is an understatement because it's really strange. And And a little bit about what I've been seeing is, like, I've for years seen people shape-shifting, and I've seen their auras and things like that. But lately, it's constant. Like, I'll be looking at someone and they're shape-shifting, like they're showing me like thousands of their faces they've been. Or I'll be, looking outside of my eyes at a place of people are talking around me and I can't hear them, and suddenly I'm in another dimension, but I'm standing there in the kitchen with them, but I'm also in another dimensional realm, and I'm being uploaded and receiving all this new information and knowingness about these humans that I'm with. And then next thing I'm back, and now I can hear them talking. But when I can't hear them talking and I can't really see them, they're all wavy, like a hologram, like a mirage. Like when you're looking at the desert on the freeway and it's all like wavy, it looks like that. And I will see things pixelating, like I'm seeing through the Matrix, basically. If you guys watch the movie The Matrix again, it's gonna blow your mind, because I watched that movie years ago. I just rewatched it recently, and I'm like, oh my god, this is actually happening. And so I'd encourage you to watch the movie The Matrix again, because it's really what's happening is we are clearing an old matrix, an old program, this whole program, so-called reality of human consciousness and humanity. There are many of us that have come here at this time with the absolute, mission to dissolve those old programs, and we are activating and upgrading to newer, higher frequency holographic realities. And this is where things are going to get really fun and magical, because I really feel that once a soul has arisen to that crown chakra consciousness, the unified field, there is no limitation. And so these are where these souls will start to create and live in ways that go against the universal laws. Like they will break free of those laws that say you can only do this, because there's no limitation. So like when we come back to this frequency together, I feel like what I already am experiencing with my beloved, we have telepathic communication constantly. Like we're constantly doing this telepathic communication thing. I'm doing it with my animals. We will be able to levitate. There will be gifts that will return to us, where we won't be as solid, we'll be light, we can choose form. These are things I already know in my deepest truth that I've already been, but we're here to activate that for humanity. We're here to basically help humanity evolve to this higher frequency reality, and to shift all this fearful, heavy stuff that's really slowing them down, and it's really, destroying their joy. It's creating a lot of suffering that's unnecessary. So it's an exciting time, let's just say that. So any other comments or anything?
Yes, Pegasus is asking.
Yes.
On the macro scale, as a collective, multiple European countries, etc., who have the desire to unite against the negative energy and ignorance of ISIS, would it be most effective to eradicate or simply contain that energy in neutrality?
So is this person saying should we get rid of it or keep
should
it neutral?
We? Well, the way that I understand it is talking about that ignorance and negative energy. Should we eradicate that bad energy, or should we simply contain it in neutrality?
Okay.
I don't know how we can contain it in neutrality myself, but.
So what I'm getting is kind of like, should we as humans go and bomb the shit out of them and get rid of them, or should we stay in a space of neutrality and send love and light and allow them to choose their shifts? Is that what you're getting at?
I guess that's kind of Pegasus. Why don't you call in?
Yeah, or just give more feedback on exactly what you're saying. But that's kind of what I get is it really kind of as angelic beings of light, like warriors of light, there is time for justice. And I do feel that an angelic being, and there's warriors throughout history that have stood for justice and the balance. And so I feel like there's nothing really we've got to be careful that we're not in any place of dogma or extremism, because there are times where a soul, like someone will take a stand for life, and that will take a life to protect life. And there are times that we need to be honorable and not take life for the life to be shifted. And so this is a very, very fragile thing that is very much going to be up to the ones involved in that. But what I would say for us that are not in positions of like going over there and fighting, I personally am not for violence. I really am not. It doesn't mean that sometimes people have to take a stand for things, but I really feel that we are shifting into a higher frequency to where if I myself get distracted and feel like I have to go and become violent, that doesn't feel right for me. Now, maybe in past lives I've done that, because I have. I've seen many past lives where I've been quite the warrior and I stood up for stuff and I would go and fight. But I feel like where I'm at in this life is more holding a space and a frequency of love and helping to awaken any who are ready. And each of those people involved will have their own personal holographic reality and their own personal karma, their own personal life lessons and soul contracts that they're going to fulfill. And so for me, I know my response to that is to hold a frequency of love and light and to help educate humanity that choosing love is always the highest choice. Now, these terrorists and these people, you know, I've had people in my own family that were terrorists. I've lived amongst that energy. I've lived with people who really wanted to destroy light and life. And I see that they suffer greatly in themselves. And so really, if I just create more suffering for them, is that going to change anything? Or do they actually need to be rehabilitated? And so when I work with the angels, what my highest focus is that they will assist in clearing any energies and removing them from this earth plane in the way that is needed to be done so that they will have their chance for rehabilitation. So like whether it's a human with an entity attached to them, and I'm doing an auric clearing and we're clearing the entities and they're being sent to another dimensional space for rehabilitation, that is what I see. And so me, Tanya, personally, I don't need to go fight anything, but I do assist with clearing. And there's many of you, I'm sure there's other souls on this planet besides myself that are assisting with clearing. And so if you are, I would encourage you to hold your focus on calling in your angels and your guides to assist in a cleansing and a clearing of consciousness for the collective and clearing the need for control and power and enslavement, to clear that fear in all of us that there's not enough, the fear in all of us that, you know, there's this competition, somebody's going to be better than the other or ahead. It's an egoic thing that goes on in every one of you listening. So if we're going to eradicate that, it's going to need to be eradicated from within, and it's going to need to be done with the whole collective consciousness as a shift that will actually create more beautiful alignment for the whole. Does that make sense? Did that answer that question?
Well, I mean, I don't know. We'll wait to see what Pegasus said, but
Okay.
Yeah, I think we need to end their suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me what you feel.
Eradicate. I mean, there is no rehabilitating these people because they see that their way of life is not the wrong. It's not like somebody who breaks into homes, kills people because he's afraid he's going to be killed. It's not like your average criminal. These are people that are living with a certain ideology, and that is the way that God wants them to be. You can
according to their idea of God.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and there is no rehabilitating somebody who, hey, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Well, and this is the thing that I would say there's an opening and an ability.
Pegasus said you did answer the question. Go ahead.
Okay. Hey, it's 555. There is an ability to rehabilitate any soul that is open and receptive.
Oh, right.
So it all comes to open and receptive.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have like a criminal in prison that's kind of learned their lesson. They're like, this sucks, I'm in prison, and they're kind of having a lot of time to think, and then they get away from the whole gang and